So I'll still give you a little bit of time next week to work on this book club essay, but just know we'll be starting reading something new next week. Okay, so this will be your last chance to really have a period to devote to finalizing some of your book club unit work. So let me go over the scope of class today, what we'll be doing and what's due. So at the beginning of the period, I'll spend some time reviewing two concepts that I've addressed already, writing about your writing in hollow sentences. But I just want to make sure that you remember these and you're keeping them in mind as you're starting to put together your book club essay. So your signpost worksheet is due today. All you're doing with that, if you haven't submitted it yet, is getting the signpost worksheet on Canvas, downloading it, filling in 3 or more of the fields with a short description of how that signpost shows up in your book, save it, re-upload it to Canvas. That's all I need. There's something on here that's not correct though. Book club essay due March 5th. So I was thinking about it, and considering that many of you are just finishing your books over the next, or have just finished it recently, and considering, you would normally be writing the essay next week while we're working on something else, I thought the quality of your papers might be better if you had a little extra time to work on them. So I've decided to push back the due date for the book club essay to Monday, March 8th. That'll give you an extra weekend to write it, and I think that'll make it a little less stressful and give you more time to really polish these and make them look good. So it's now due Monday, March 8th at the end of the school day. All right, so let's get to these two things, writing about your writing in hollow sentences, and then I'll give you the rest of the period to finish up your work. So you'll recall that writing about your writing refers to commenting on the purpose of your sentences and paragraphs as you're writing them. It's a kind of meta commentary on what you're doing. And it's just unnecessary because it's implied. As a general writing principle, you should always strive to, you don't want to dumb down your paper, but you want to say what you need to say in the most concise, interesting, and direct way possible without a lot of fluff. And the writing about your writing is just fluff. It's not necessary in order to get your point across. So here's an example sentence. This quotation can be seen to provide evidence that in reality, Kaz is more sentimental than he outwardly shows. Well, look at the first half of that sentence. That's all just commenting on, the purpose of including the quote. But the meat of the sentence, the important part, is your analysis, which is all in the second half. So this sentence would be stronger if you just deleted the first half of it. That's a pretty blatant example, but sometimes I see things like something that's shorter than that, just like this quote shows that blah, 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 blah. Well, if you find yourself writing over and over, this quote shows, or as you could see in this quote, most of that can be deleted. Look for opportunities to delete those. Next up, hollow sentences. Same underlying principle here. You want every word you write in an essay to have a purpose, to be direct, and to not have an excessive amount of fluff in your writing. And hollow sentences are fluff. And these are sentences that on the surface appear to be meaningful and might even use academic and formal language, but at their core don't have anything real to say. Here's an example of a hollow sentence. Six of Crows is a novel that explores many issues that connect to the world today. Right. So what makes this hollow is it's just kind of reiterating the prompt, the first prompt for the book club essay, without adding any original ideas to it. Right. This just shows me that you can restate the prompt. So there are two antidotes to this. You can either delete it or add more detail. So I took the second route, added more facts about the book. So in Six of Crows, one of the problems that the characters are facing is this drug called Jordaparim that's going to make all these magical characters overpowered and cause a lot of problems. So I changed it to the threat of Jur Parim and Six of Crows parallels many of the existential threats facing the world today. And then I connected it to issues facing the world, from rampant drug use to the ravages of climate change. So like, there's nothing here that you can't write. Like, you all know how to put together a sentence like this. It's just a matter of like getting in the habit of thoroughly explaining what you're saying, being more specific. And maybe it's more specific than you think you need to be, but that's what, like, one of the most common problems in student writing is not thoroughly explaining what you're saying to the point where it's just, overly vague, unclear, and somewhat meaningless. So watch out for those hollow sentences. They still are cropping up in your writing. Okay. Any questions on those two issues? Okay. All right, so here's what you'll be doing today. Again, complete the podcast or any other missing assignments, character motive paragraph or anything else. I am going through and grading the character motive paragraphs. So if you see that your grade is in, I'm putting comments and I'm filling out the rubric for all of them. So I would encourage you to go into turnitin.com. That's where you could see the comments and the rubric. So just turnitin.com, open up your English course, find the assignment. You could see them there. But the assignment that's due today is the signpost worksheet. So make sure you complete that, make that your priority. If you complete that, finish reading your book club book. And if you've done that, then plan your essay, start writing your essay. And again, if you want me to look over what you have written so far, I'd be happy to do that. Just share it with me on Word Online. Make sure you enable editing. All right.